Are you lacking happiness in your life? Do you find yourself depressed or anxious and you don't understand why? One solution for you that is free may be service, acts of service. You going and serving other people, whether that's working at a food shelter or serving the homeless in some way or volunteering at church, whatever that is, service is a way to get your mind off yourself and help others and bring happiness to others' life, which in return will bring happiness to your life. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. I have patients that recently went to Africa to serve a tribe there, specifically 200 orphans. And they came back and they stated that their life was changed by the trip because they saw the poverty that these Africans live in. And at the same time, juxtaposed next to that poverty, they saw the extreme happiness that these people lived with. And if anyone should be depressed or anxious or complain about not having enough, it would be the African tribes kids or orphans, not Americans. But why are Americans the most depressed and anxious society on the planet when we have the most materials, supposedly the best health care, and everything at our fingertips? It tells us that materials don't bring happiness. Happiness comes from somewhere else. And since humans are a relational species and Americans are more and more isolated by technology, digital media, and our fast-paced lifestyles, we're actually moving away from happiness as a society. Whereas an African tribe that has nothing but is a close-knit actual tribe is much happier than us without heat, without air conditioning, without readily available food or refrigerated food, et cetera, et cetera. So I echo the comments of my patients who went on the African trip. I have done mission trips to the Dominican Republic, and I've experienced the same thing, where we were adjusting people of the Dominican Republic in a church that the church in the U.S. would be condemned and have yellow caution tape all over it. But the pastor and his wife that lived in this church opened their doors, were very happy, fed us lunch, and were nothing but grateful and smiling the entire time. My experience there said, wow, these people live in a condemned building, have nothing, and they're happier than the average Americans and willing to share what little they do have. So if you find yourself down for any reason, think about and remember and recognize how blessed we are to live in this country, and that the poorest of us have far more than most people elsewhere on the planet. So be thankful for what you have, and then seek out ways that you can go serve others who are less fortunate, even in our communities. And by bringing joy to others, you will bring joy to yourself and maybe even find a calling.